Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Reiki Reflect. If you are new here, my name is Angie. I'm a third generation aura and energy reader. I am also a certified Reiki master. Be sure to join us every Wednesday for discussions about all things spiritual and science related. We will cover topics such as spiritual awakenings, Reiki, chakras, twin flames, and soul love connections. Now, today's topic is going to be about the night of the dark soul. Well, what is the night of the dark soul? It's something that we can't run from because it will catch up to us in some form or the other. It is a period of spiritual transformation and growth, which comes as a result of a deep pain within ourselves. It is common to experience this when our twin flames run from us to be with a karmic partner or to simply just ignore our love. The pain caused by this separation is so intense that you will more than likely lose hope for living. In this stage, it is common to just want to give up on your spiritual journey and go back to a previous source. Because it's so hard for us to fully understand why God gave us a taste of such pure, unconditional love and then take it away from us, we often ask ourselves questions. What is the point of living if I can't have this love? Now, I do want you to understand this. Twin flames is what I like to call a consolation prize, because twin flames are really ultimately about your spiritual journey, reaching your oneness, becoming your higher self, becoming spiritually awakened, opening your third eye. You have to go through all those stages, experience all those beautiful spiritual energies around us in order to get to your twin flame. There's no way around it. People have tried for centuries. You have to walk this spiritual path in order to be with your twin flame. So you have to experience, and I know a lot of you may not want to hear this, but you have to experience the good, the bad, and the ugly through your spiritual journey to become in union with your twin flame. And I feel at the end, once you reach your oneness and you are at your full potential in life, that is when the universe will grant you your consolation prize, which will be the union of your twin flame. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about twin flame signs and symptoms so that you can better understand what will happen once you go through this dark night of the soul phase and can understand if you're in it or not right now. So this helps you to become fully aware of what is to come and what you're going through. So the first sign is usually confusion. You're confused because you feel like you should be happy right now, but for some reason you're just not. That's the thing about the dark night of the soul. It usually comes up right at the moment in which you have every reason to be content. What's happening is you're seeing how the external things didn't heal you. Your illusions about what really matters are breaking down. The part of you that is still chasing outside things to make you happy is dying. Once it does, you can begin to actually do things that make you whole. So basically, you're starting to realize that superficial things does not bring you satisfaction. That's usually the first indication that you're experiencing the night of the dark soul. Think of it as shedding your first layer of skin through your spiritual awakening. Now, the second sign or symptom is the purge. You start having this purging feeling, like you just want to get rid of things. For some people, this is an actual motivation to clean their house, organize their clutter, get the garage clean, clean out your dressers, your closets, go into the attic and just purge out things that you just don't want anymore. So sometimes for people, it's getting rid of materialistic items or just items in general, even if they meant something to you. Sometimes it can even be really sentimental things. I mean, I know I've done that at one point in my life. Ever since I was a teenager, I had this collection in a big binder folder that had a zipper on it of mementos that I collected with my friends and family members. And it was like little things like a piece of a napkin from a restaurant I ate with some good friends, or a concert ticket, or a bubblegum wrapper that my best friend gave me. And it was just like really stuff that had no value, but it was sentimental for me. And I carried those and lugged those around with me for almost a decade. So it was a long time. And then one day I woke up and felt like this is in my way and I don't need it anymore because it didn't bring me any type of enjoyment. So I got rid of a lot of sentimental things to me. And I feel it's because an old version of me died and a new version of me was born. So those sentimental items, I didn't resonate with them anymore. I didn't hold any type of value to them anymore. So that's a sign, getting rid of things. And I just want you to know, they're just items. They're things. They're mementos that don't really place any value with us anymore on an emotional level. And that's okay if you want to get rid of them. So don't feel like, don't make yourself feel guilty for not wanting to hold on to this birthday card that your ex-boyfriend gave you when you was 15, It's okay to get rid of things. For others, it's gravitating toward healthier foods, feeling unexplainable chills, which is a sign also for a spiritual awakening. I talked about that in a previous segment. Feeling heaviness or lightness, wanting to like declutter your home, even your social life. So it's getting rid of, basically this is what this sign means. Like I just said, an old version of you just died. And this is you clearing out all the things that your old version of yourself was attached to, whether that's items, people, or just food, eating better, exercising, doing things differently. This is us changing, reaching our higher self. Now, another symptom and sign is the feeling of being stuck. Usually comes up when you're beginning to recognize all of the limitations that were placed on ourselves. Feeling lost just means you are no longer living by the script you made up for yourself. You're opening up to a completely new way of living, a new, totally new life. Of course, it feels like you don't know where you're headed, but you will soon figure that out as you kind of progress down your spiritual path. So don't be afraid. Just embrace it and go with the flow, because being resistant through these spiritual changes can result in going into a pattern of a circle. So especially with the dark night of the soul, you want to get in and get out as fast as you can. You really don't want to stay in this type of spiritual environment for very long. So when you start to feel lost or even stuck, and you see yourself shedding old ways and adapting to new ways, just embrace it. And that's the fastest way out of this environment, so to speak. Now, the next sign you will more than likely experience will be like your contact with people. You realize that there are more ways of interacting with people, trying to get their approval by being better. And then you are trying to connect with them genuinely. Trying to impress people into liking you will always leave you feeling empty. It's a very hard mechanism the ego uses to soothe itself when the fear of truly being seen by another arises. So you definitely will start to see yourself looking at your relationships in general on a more spiritual level and understanding that everyone is different, that there are multiple outcomes if we just try, and you will see that you will have a better judgment overall of the company that you keep. Now, another sign that you will start to see is when you begin to resonate with Eastern philosophies and spirituality, which is probably the reason why you're here listening to this podcast. The fear-based system in which you beg for mercy just isn't cutting it anymore. Instead, you're interested in learning how to harness your mind and awaken it to your own power, for your own healing, and for other people's. Another sign is you're having random and intense memories and dreams of past partners, forgotten childhood experiences, and so on. This is because all of the emotions attached to those experiences are bubbling up to the surface. The energy that you are having, being that it's being ignored all this time, is beginning to diffuse. And you are beginning to open yourself back up to the parts of your subconscious mind you forgot about while you were suppressing other memories. You'll radically think your ideas of success. You begin listening to the countless warnings that fame and wealth and success is not the luxury life that you think it is. You begin realizing that you don't really want any of that. You're relying on an idea of it to soothe any fear or insecurity that you have about your own worthlessness. Now, basically what that is telling us is that you begin to feel that money isn't everything. But I don't want you to just quit your job and go live in the wilderness and obtain nature, because you still got to eat and you got bills to pay and you got a family to take care of. So never stop putting your success forward, because I don't want you to misinterpret what this is telling us. This is saying that money can't buy you happiness. Yes, that is correct. An unhappy person can have billions of dollars, not just millions, billions of dollars, and still feel emptiness when they are not spiritually awakened or feel that oneness with themselves. So don't let luxury come between you and your personal growth, but also know that your personal growth does come from the success that you put into your career life and your financial stability. Because like I said, we all have to eat. And we're all put on this earth for one thing. What do we strive for? Why do we wake up every day? To live. To survive. To stay alive. And all those things, unfortunately, we need money for. So I don't want you guys to interpret that in a different way. Now, you also will be discovering your inner child. Whether it's deciding that you want to do something you once loved very much and you gave up, like a game or a form of art, or even just letting yourself be silly every now and again. You are letting yourself begin to revert back to your most innocent state. Basically, what this is you're releasing your soul of your current state of adulthood. This is a form of going back in time, is how I look at it. You are going back or reliving things from your childhood, embracing your inner childness, doing things that you love, doing things that made you happy, with no other attentions, no agenda. You just felt good doing this. Whether that is painting, coloring, playing a video game, playing with toy cars, playing with sand on the beach, whatever it was that made you happy as a kid, you find yourself thinking about it, if not wanting to do it, and finding how that brings you joy. So basically, you're releasing the ego, which is our current adulthood life that we're following. You release your ego, you revert back to your inner child, so you can basically start over again and become your true inner oneness. So that's a good state to be in, and you're really close to reaching the other side of that dark night of the soul and continuing your spiritual journey. Now, you also are starting to understand what people are talking about when they say they're all socially conditioned, living distinguished lives, and they're addicted to their problems. You're slowly awakened and realizing that the majority of people are living on a number of disconnected autopilot, in which everything from their interests to their life partners are chosen more by what society prefers and less how they really feel. So this is a feeling where you reach your oneness because you're starting to understand that you are not alone. Everyone on this planet, no matter how young or how old you are and what your current status of life is, we all put on a fake smile. We are all trying to be someone that we're truly not. No matter how much you can say, this is me, this is my real self, I don't act different in front of people. We all do it, and we don't even know we're doing it because we do it subconsciously. Because this is how society forces us to think is the proper outlook. We watch things on TV. We listen to things through our headphones, and it's being embedded in our conscious mind on how we should eat, breathe, sleep, act, and live our life. So once you become aware of that, that is when you are able to reach your higher self, because it all starts with awareness. A person can't change unless they want to change. The saying that they have, the first step to recovery is admitting that you have an addiction. So the first step to your spiritual awakening is becoming aware to our current society and understanding that you truly aren't alone. Another sign is you have frightening or irrational thoughts, sometimes even along the lines of, I'm dying. And I remember these thoughts very vividly in my spiritual journey, and it was a nightmare. When you're going through your dark night of the soul, a part of you is dying. You're becoming aware of your ego and how it has been controlling the quality of your life. So we all will experience this at some point of our spiritual journey. There was a time where I was just fearful that me or everyone in my life around me was just going to die for no apparent reason. And it was hard. It was hard for me. It's the only way I can explain it. It was really hard. Like, I remember I used to get up out of my sleep in a panic, and I would go to my kids' room, and ever so slightly, I would put my hand one after another on each of their chests. And I have 3 kids. And it was really creepy. Like, I would just go and place my hand on their chest so I could feel their heartbeat. And I want to feel the pace of the breathing. Like, it wasn't just the fact that I wanted to know that their heart was beating. I wanted to make sure that they was having regular breaths. Like, I was fearful that their breathing was going to be irregular and there's going to be some kind of ongoing issue that I'm just not getting, that it's missing. So I would sit there, placing my hand on their chest, and they're sleeping. And I would just feel their heartbeat and watch my hand move up and down as they breathed. And I would do that continuously, all the time, every night like clockwork. I would just jump out of my sleep and run to check. And I would have this thought in my head that something's going to happen to them while I am sleeping. I'm not going to be able to help because I wasn't aware that the situation was going on. So it took me a while to get out of that phase. And it was really hard. It drove me crazy for a long time. Through everything I've been through my spiritual awakening, on my spiritual journey, I think that was the hardest one for me. Just feeling like something's going to happen to someone you love dearly and there's nothing you can do about it. Like I would specifically have thoughts that something will happen to them in the middle of the night while I was sleeping, and it would be too late for me to catch it and save them. So another sign or symptom is beginning to recognize and feel that true suffering, or feeling what true suffering is, I should say. When you really suffer, you become able to emphasize what your actual pain is beforehand. Seeing movies with war scenes and dying siblings or cancer tests were sad, but you didn't really resonate with you. Now you are starting to really feel what refugees and people stuck in war, torn countries, and these people are dying of illnesses and can't afford better treatment, must be experiencing. I remember this feeling as well. You feel so helpless. You think about all the people in the world and you feel so helpless. You start to really realize that your life isn't that bad, that you could have had it worse. Then you'll see like commercials, or I watch a lot of documentaries. It's interesting and intrigues me about other countries, third world countries, and I just see these little kids like playing in the water, and the water is so dirty and it's not clean or filtered, and this is how that was their drinking source. And they're tiny little kids, tiny, like I'm talking like, 3 and 4, playing by a little river with no adult supervision. And it's like, wow, I barely let my 5-year-old pour his own glass of milk, let alone let him go by the river and have a drink of contaminated water. Like, it's just, so you'll start to be more thankful because you realize what true suffering is, which is going to help you to reach your oneness. Now another sign you'll feel is true suffering. When you realize the true suffering, it becomes overwhelming, but it won't be for long, so don't worry. The feelings at first will make you want to get up and change as much as you can. Through the course, you are not responsible for alleviating all the world's pain. You have to understand that. It's not your duty. You will eventually figure out what your role is in helping and healing. And in the meantime, you'll become a more patient and understanding person, even towards strangers. So I remember when I went through this, I didn't always do what I'm doing now. Right now, I consider myself a metaphysical energy healing life coach. Before my spiritual awakening, I was a tarot reader. I just read your future. But as I went through my dark night of the rising phase, dark night of the soul, phase, I wanted to do something greater. I wanted to help people on a more spiritual level. I wanted to offer and provide spiritual understanding. I wanted people to understand that what they're going through, they're not alone. And I constantly say spiritual understanding. I say this because Oftentimes, when we are very confused and we don't know where to turn, it's more than likely because it's a spiritual problem or a spiritual situation that they are going through. And a lot of us are just unaware on how big spirituality is to our day-to-day life. So I try to promote spiritualness as much as possible. So you'll find your calling as well. So don't worry. Now, a few other symptoms or signs for you is strange sleeping habits. So your sleeping pattern will be really interrupted for a while. You'll sometimes have a hard time sleeping or have a hard time waking up. But that's something will change too. You will find yourself having irregular eating patterns. Sometimes you will feel just hungry all the time and nothing satisfies you. Because again, this is like a portion or a version, not a portion, it's a version of you dying and a new person of you being reborn. So it's like you're trying to adjust to the world around you, trying to figure out your likes and your dislikes all over again. So those are some other things you will experience as well. Now, the good thing is through all this, and if you stay calm and gain a lot of spiritual understanding, you will be able to get in and out of this night of the dark soul phase extremely fast. And then I also want you to understand that all of these symptoms or signs are just feelings that people felt over the years. So it's a collection of things people felt while experiencing a certain time in their life. So you might not experience all of them. You might only experience some of them. And on the rare occasion, you might experience nothing and run briskly through your night of the dark soul phase and not even know that it happened. But that's something that happens very rarely. The best thing for you to do when you are in this phase and are losing hope, so to speak, is to seek out spiritual advice, counseling, understanding from someone who's been through your situation. Being open-minded can help you to adjust to your changes, because sometimes it's hard for us as humans just to adapt to new things, because I talked about this before. We do not like change, good or bad. Subconsciously, we do not like change because we're used to a certain pattern. And that pattern, even if the pattern's good or even bad, we like that pattern because it keeps us consistent and it makes sure that our reality is real. That's often why many women and men take such a long time to leave from an abusive relationship. It's because it's a pattern that they're aware of. It gives them a sense of control and helps us to understand that we are real, we are here, and we are living this life. So once we become okay with adapting and changing to new situations and new surroundings, that's when we will see great changes from us. But those are things you can't push, force, or rush, because it's all about divine timing. So today I hope you gained some spiritual understanding to help you on your journey to reach your oneness and become your higher self. Just so you know, there is no certain way that this has to be done, as everyone is a little different and we all experience and react to things differently. This is meant as a general guideline for you so that you can understand You are not alone in this world. So continue to focus on you to live your best life. We are going to become more mindful together and practice a healthier lifestyle from all aspects of your life. Visit my website, ReikiReflect.com, if you would like to schedule a guided meditation session or a distant Reiki healing to help you to reach your oneness. Because if you listen to my previous podcast, you will definitely know and understand that my spiritual journey was really difficult doing it on my own. So I know everyone needs some sort of help. So refer to that website anytime you have questions or you just need to talk, because I'm here for you and we will get through this together. Well, this is the end of our segment today. We reached our 30-minute mark. Next topic is going to be about manifestation and how to use it to the best of our knowledge to achieve the life that we desire and to reach total oneness with ourselves and the universe around us. Thank you again for listening and joining Reiki Reflect. Bye.